But I thought we'd have a discussion after the press leaves about what last night represented and what we should do about it, and also about the shutdown, and how that relates to last night. I think if you read the pollsters, the shutdown was a big factor, negative for the Republicans, and that was a big factor. And they say that I wasn't on the ballot was the biggest factor, but I don't know about that, but I was honored that they said that. And I just want to thank everybody for being here, and a very special thanks to Vice President J.D. Vance, who's doing a terrific job.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. You're watching the VSO Gun Channel. Thank you for tuning in. And today, pretty simple concept. Republicans got shellacked last night. You heard the man. He said that the pollsters are saying that he wasn't on the ballot and the shutdown were the big issues. And I'll buy that. I'll buy that. I personally think that the government being shut down is muy bueno, but, you know, I could see where the turmoil surrounding it could cause some folks to do it, to have a sour opinion. Here's the thing, though. Historically, when we're talking about the election immediately following a major general election, generally speaking, that participation as far as voters are concerned is way, way low. It comes up a little bit in the midterm elections when larger races are highly publicized and stuff like that. But like, for instance, last night in the state of Ohio, there weren't any major elections going on. So while I did participate, there wasn't really a whole lot of stuff going on except for your local elections, which are pretty important and very substantive that you should pay attention to. But when it comes to any like major shifts and balances of power or anything like that, none of that stuff happened last night. But it is an indicator for Republicans, because this is what it looks like when people like us don't show up for you. If one of my candidates in one of my either House or Senate races was on the ballot last night, I would not have voted for them. Now, I know the majority of you already know what it is I'm going to say, and you're right there with me. But I know that some of you don't follow politics at that level, or maybe forgot about it, or, you know, whatever. You might even be shocked by that statement. But I'm going to unpack this. I'm going to unravel it, bring you up to speed, and simultaneously issue a word of warning to my Republicans that are currently sitting there in the House or the Senate that are coming up for re-election in 2026. If you rely on the pro-America, pro-freedom, or Second Amendment votes for your position, you are in big trouble. I'll put it to you like this. I fully intend to vote in November of 2026. However, you guys, I'm leaving your spots blank. That and more after we hear a quick word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by XS Sites. I'm out here today preaching the good word of the XS Big Dot site. If you don't like the XS Big Dot site, then you're wrong. No, I'm just kidding. I started using the big dots because I took a low light force on force class. If you've never had that experience, I could totally see why somebody wouldn't select that site, but it is my go-to site. They offer a whole bunch of other things out there, and XS has been a big time, long time supporter of the channel. So I very much appreciate them supporting the mission here at the VSO Gun Channel. Let's get into the video. You guys had an opportunity this year to tear the foundations, the roots out of most of the unconstitutional gun control that has been on the books in this country for over 90 years at this point in time. You had an opportunity to get rid of the vast majority of it, and you chose not to. It was in the bill. You chose not to because some unelected bureaucrat told you that it wasn't kosher, even though you guys are considering at this point in time, what?
It's time for Republicans to do what they have to do, and that's terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it. And if you don't terminate the filibuster, you'll be in bad shape. We won't pass any legislation.
You guys are playing with the idea, but you're unwilling to overrule the Senate parliamentarian and say, nah, this is tax related. We're putting it in a reconciliation bill. And you had an opportunity to do it. You didn't do it because she said nay, nay. And you had yet another opportunity to do it when it went back to the House of Representatives to put it back in. But you chose not to because you wanted your July 4th fictitious timeline so you guys have a big celebration about how awesome you guys are for wasting billions of our money. And you bait and switched everybody with this like, oh, look, we reduced the tax to $0. You guys should be happy. Fuck you. It was never about the tax. It was about the registration. It was about the unconstitutional encroachment on the freedoms and liberties of American citizens that has been on the books for decades, since well before my parents or grandparents were born. You had an opportunity to right that wrong. Many of you have been campaigning on, did you support and defend the Constitution of the United States and that you're pro-Second Amendment? You run on that every single time. You had an opportunity to do it, and you failed. You dropped the ball. I hate sports references. Like, there must have been like 2 blades of grass before the line painted on the ground. You absolutely screwed it up. It looks to me like you maybe have another chance for a reconciliation bill in 2026. That had better be in there. You had better go so hard into the Second Amendment paint this time around that we forget about the betrayal and the big bloated backstab. You must atone. If you do not, I speak for many when I say, I'm not showing up for you. And don't you dare
Terminate the filibuster. It's the only way you can do it.
The only thing that keeps this country from descending into 100% complete and total mob rule. You get rid of the filibuster, you do that, and then when the reins of power switch back, it's not if, it's when, then the forces in this country that hate it, that absolutely want to see it stripped down and turn into a commune, will get their way. Every single batch of everything that is anti-American will be passed with 51 votes. Because that is the only thing that keeps ridiculousness from being rammed down our throat. So no, you can't just get rid of the filibuster because you don't like the government being shut down. The government being shut down is a positive thing. You proved earlier in the year that you are not equipped to have the reins of power. A government that is shut down cannot infringe on the rights of its citizens. So it is awesome that it is not operating right now. Maybe, just maybe, you should stop running a deficit. Maybe, just maybe, you should reduce the scope and scale of the government so that you could pay for it. Maybe, just maybe, you should consider reducing the size of that government so that it can do fewer things. So Republicans, again, you're between a rock and a hard place. You're looking really bad right now. And this is just the first salvo of us not showing up. You have some opportunities to turn that thing around. I can't promise you that you haven't done enough damage already to make that irreversible. But you know what would probably go a long way? Eventually, the government is going to open back up. 60 votes will be achieved. Cloture will be invoked. Whatever that thing looks like, it's going to happen. It isn't going to stay shut down for another year, although that would be freaking awesome if it did. Oh, that is like a wet dream. I got a little bit of a chubby right now. What you ought to do is you ought to write into that bill right now. The NFA, National Firearms Act, and the Gun Control Act are hereby repealed. Just go ahead and put it in there. Get the Democrats to sign on to it because they're going to have to reopen the government eventually. Do it and do it now. This is your shot. Because I'm speaking for thousands when I say, status quo, we ain't showing up for you. And 2026 will be a lot worse.